Hi, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Richard Disbrow, business agent of IATSE Local 122, joined with Rachel Eves, Secretary-Treasurer of Local 122. Tonight we'd like to thank our sponsors for making this event possible and for you watching at home, live from the beautiful Balboa Theater in downtown San Diego. All across America, ghost lights just like this one are sitting center stage with the light on, just waiting to be wheeled off in the wings so that people can perform once again. There's a lot of lore about ghost lights. Some say it's about leaving it on so that the ghosts of the theater are able to perform.
It also serves a practical reason, safety. Stagehands are the first to arrive to a theater, so the ghost light illuminates the stage so that they're able to turn on the system and begin to work. It is with great pleasure that we are able to roll this ghost light off for you tonight.
We're excited to put on a performance for you tonight. We have some special guests and a great performance. But let's check in for those of you who don't know what a stagehand is and see what it is we do.
We are stagehands, also known as audiovisual technicians. We usually work behind the scenes, so you don't know who we are or what we do. We set audio systems and speakers so you can be heard. Lights so you can be seen. Video cameras and projection screens so you can share your visual ideas and communicate effectively with your audience. We power up concerts, work on movie sets, large corporate meetings, theater, sports, conventions, weddings, and all other general media events. We safely rig up some incredible structures, often above your head, but you may never notice it. If we do our job right, we are invisible. The show shines, and the idea is conveyed. Then, we tear it all down and do it all over again for the next event. We are stagehands, and we work in major hotels and resorts, the convention center, the sports arena, Petco Park, and many other major facilities across San Diego County. Our industry shut down last year due to the pandemic. We were the first to be let go from our jobs, and we'll be the last to be called back. Most of us have been out of work for a year now. But while we patiently wait to return to our trade, we volunteer in our communities. We partner with our labor council and with our union brothers and sisters, because we understand to get out of this pandemic, we need unity. Our trade is our passion. We love what we do, and most importantly,
we are stagehands.
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 It's with great pleasure tonight that I get to introduce our MC, Mr. Keith Maddox, Executive Secretary Treasurer of the San Diego and Imperial Counties Labor Council.
Thank you, Richard. It's great to be here with IATSE. We've been here with IATSE, especially since the beginning of this pandemic, and the battle to try to give a helping hand And on behalf of the Labor Council and all of our 136 unions that we represent, it's a pleasure to be here to try to be helping again, for an organization of workers that give so much to this city, and they've been out of work for a year now, a solid year without work. Tough times, and so we ask people, we hope that you will give tonight. You will see on your screen, going across it with text to donate. You will also see the auction. We will be introducing sponsors tonight, but we hope you'll give generously. And with that, I've got the pleasure to introduce our mayor, Todd Gloria, who is a true friend of working people. It is a pleasure having him with us. Todd is someone who, when so many people across this city was trying to take away the retirements of hard-working San Diegans and at the city, he's the one that stood up and fought against it. He's the one that stood up for the minimum wage. It is a pleasure having a true worker champion in the mayor's office in San Diego. Todd Gloria.
Thank you, Keith. Oh, there you go. It's a COVID greeting right there. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Richard, Rachel, Local 122. Good evening, everyone. Hold on, I forget. I'm getting so used to these face masks, I forget to take them off. Good evening, everyone. It is truly an honor to be here tonight to show my support for our local stagehands. You know, when I think about the last year that we have endured, many of us have sacrificed. I know in my own family, we have experienced job losses, educational losses, the missed opportunities to come together as a family. And I recognize that everyone I'm speaking to tonight that is a part of our Stagehands Union have been probably hit the hardest for the longest. And so I'm grateful, Richard, to be able to be here tonight to show my support for your leadership, for IATSE, and for reopening our economy in a way that is both safe and that elevates and uplifts those who have been most disproportionately impacted. And while we could certainly recount all of the horrible things that have happened over this last year and all the ways that we have been impacted, I want to think about the positive things that I believe are happening today and that are on the horizon. Because tonight, as I stand here before you at this mostly empty theater, the fact of the matter is we can be in this theater, and there is opportunity there. Today, the county of San Diego has moved to the red tier. Certainly not fully reopened, but some of the outdoor events that IATSE members can work at are slowly coming back to life. We have, as of today, as a city of San Diego, has vaccinated almost 55,000 residents. I can stand before you today to tell you that every one of our public safety professionals at the city who've wanted the vaccine now have it. And going forward, we are continuing to make sure our efforts are focused in the communities hardest hit. I'm thinking about neighborhoods like San Ysidro, Southeast San Diego, Mid-City, where we know the infection rates are the highest, is where we are sending our firefighters, our EMTs, and our lifeguards to make sure people are getting vaccinated. Here's a good tip, too. We have vaccinated the homeless people who are living in our city's convention center, once worked by proud IATSE members, converted into an interim homeless facility that tonight will house 600 of our most vulnerable neighbors. Those folks were vaccinated in recent weeks, and I'm proud to tell you this morning I got a report that our most recent COVID tests showed 0 positive results. I share this with you all because I think after this year, we all need to have hope, and I want you to have hope. Last week, President Biden signed the American Rescue Plan, which is a $1.9 trillion investment in restarting our nation's economy. Over $300 million of those relief dollars will flow to the city of San Diego to make sure that those lifeguards, EMTs, and firefighters I just mentioned don't, after a year of serving our community, have to face a pink slip, a layoff, or a pay cut. We're going to invest those dollars in the community so that we can restart our economy, focusing on those that have been hit hard and hit the longest. And of course, that is our hospitality and events industry. I look forward to working with IATSE to continue to understand the ways that we can take our Back to Work SD plan that was in part written by my friend Keith Maddox to make sure that we build back better than we were before. I recognize that all of you have seen in stark relief the exact ways that our economy has long not worked for so many in our community, and I think that's particularly true for working and middle-class people in this city. With new leadership, with brighter, wider eyes about the problems and the disparities in this community, and with the dollars that are flowing through the Relief Act, my hope is that we can have a San Diego that works better for all of us, but particularly for working and middle-class San Diegans. Lastly, I want to give you something to think about in terms of having some hope. Because while we think about what we can restart, I also want us to think about what we can have in the not too distant future, what we can build beyond. And one of the best things I think we can do in terms of a smart investment for the future of our economy is to expand our convention center. Many of you know that last year, nearly 2/3 of San Diegans showed up at the polls and voted to not only expand the convention center, but to make a massive long-term investment in getting more homeless people off our city streets. On April 6th, I will present a question before the City Council to validate the passage of that particular election so that we can begin the work of making sure that we expand that convention center, that the thousands of jobs that are associated with that particular economic engine can not only continue, but can grow for generations to come. I look forward again to working with IATSE to make that project a reality in the not too distant future. So it's about mourning what we have endured over the last year. It's about having hope for where we are right now, and it's about knowing that the future will be brighter. In the meantime, I ask everyone, support IATSE, make a contribution tonight. You give me that text number, I'll make sure to contribute myself. Please do what you can to support these incredible workers. Keith, thank you to the Labor Council for what your organization has done to literally feed thousands of working families. Let's hang in there. The goal line is in the not too distant future. And as a gay guy, that's a big deal that I just used a sports analogy. I can see the end is in sight. We are nearly there. Hang in there, San Diego. We've got this. We can win. We will defeat COVID-19, and we will build back better than before. Thank you again for having me here tonight. I appreciate it.
Mayor Gloria, I appreciate you being here and supporting us. You know, that was more than I expected, and exciting news to hear about the convention center expansion, and you have our support, obviously, and we're here to help you in any way that we can.
Thanks, Richard.
Absolutely. We're going to be there with you. I mean, you know, when hearing the state of the city and the things that you talked about jobs, about working class, about unions, about affordable workforce housing, those are all things that the labor movement will be there to help you fight. And it's great to have someone fighting for working people at the city of San Diego. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Brother Keith. Have a great night, everybody. Break a leg.
Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, tonight is also about celebrating our St. Patrick's Day and Irish heritage. You know, and tonight we got a little music. I mean, it wouldn't be St. Patty's Day without a little music and a little cheer. I'd like to introduce a group of folks I've just got to know, and they're San Diego's own Lexington Field. This is a group of band members, Cammie and Bo and Brent and John, that have been together for, I believe, around 12 years. They've released 8 studio releases. They've got, you can go to Spotify and iTunes and all the electronic mediums to download. And keep in mind, these are groups that's been hit really hard as well. So anything you can do to help them out is a big deal. Anything else you would add from Lexington Field?
No, we're just excited to be here to play some of our original songs, to play some songs for St. Patrick's Day and get everybody into the mood as best we can.
Well, let's enjoy some music tonight. Lexington Field.
Let's dance along in your living room, everybody.
Thank you to Lexington Field. And they're going to be coming on throughout the night, so please stay with us. And at the end of the night, they're going to perform us a nice little long band set as we close out this event tonight. So we'll hope you'll stay with us and enjoy their music, and also go online and download their music and give a helping hand for Lexington Field. You know, tonight it's all about trying to help back and give back. You know, as we talked about IATSE, a union that's been, you know, has been around since 1905. I mean, you think about the trials and everything that they've been through over the years, but none, you know, that we could have imagined like has hit us now. So tonight is all about trying to help back, give back to these members who need a little extra helping hand until they can get back to their jobs at the convention center and in the hotels and throughout the theaters and around San Diego. And it's all about the sponsors. We also remind you once again, please, you know, go online and donate tonight. Go to the auction that's scrolling across your screen and contribute to the auction. But we want to introduce this event is possible tonight because of the sponsors that have given back. Our unions across San Diego that's part of the Labor Council. And I'll start with our first one tonight and introduce you to a little bit about who we are as a labor movement. The first sponsor tonight that help make this possible is the American Federation of Teachers, AFT, also known as the Guild. They represent the white-collar workers and professionals and professors at our colleges and higher ed. And so I would like to introduce AFT, the Guild.
Hi, I'm Kelly Mayhew. I'm Vice President of Faculty at San Diego City College for the American Federation of Teachers Local 1931. We represent educators in the San Diego and Grossmont-Cuyamaca Community College districts. Right now, we're working really hard to bring into being a wealth tax. What we've found is that billionaires have been making tons of money during the pandemic, while people in San Diego and throughout the state of California have been suffering, losing jobs, not being able to go to school, all sorts of things. We don't think it's fair that billionaires get to make so much money while others are out of work and really having a hard time of it. I want to say that my union stands in solidarity with IATSE 122. We love these guys. They make so much possible. When we used to go to music, we know that IATSE was right there with us. Every time I make a speech, IATSE is right there with us. So we stand in solidarity with our sisters and brothers in IATSE 122 and hope that things end quickly. Thank you.
And to our platinum sponsor, AFT, we appreciate them joining us tonight and fundraising for us. For those of you who don't know a stagehand, well, that's why we've decided to raise the curtains tonight and not mask anything off. So you'll see folks kind of running around doing stuff as we perform throughout the night. But let's take a look at some of our other members and check in and see who they are.
To anybody who doesn't know what IATSE does, IATSE 122 does, there was a line from a Wizard of Oz movie, and the line was, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. All right, my name's Jeff Baxter. I started working with the local back in 1982. Usually I work at the San Diego Convention Center, but I also work any of the other venues in town when the need arises.
My name is Rachel Eves. I've been with the local as a member for 10 years. I started working in 2004.
My name is May Lay, and I started with IATSE in 2016, so it's 5 years now.
Well, hello there. My name is Robert Morales. I work for IATSE Local 122 in San Diego and the surrounding counties. I usually work at the San Diego Convention Center, overseeing trades come in and out with giant tech shows.
My name is Noel Helms, and I am a member of IATSE Local 122. I've been a member now for 4 years. I first did a job for this local in approximately 2010. I work all over the country. I mostly in town here do convention center and the big 4 waterfront hotels for meetings and conventions.
My name is Kat Makarushka, and I work at the Balboa Theater as a master electrician, and I have been a member of this local for 15 years, but I started with the local in 1998.
Well, my name is Joe Williams. I work at IATSE. It's an International Theatrical Stage Employees Union in San Diego, California.
My name is Jessica Dean. I normally work all over the place, usually at theaters. I work at the Old Globe. I came in with the Old Globe. I work at La Jolla Playhouse a lot, and I work at the Conrad Previs Performing Arts Center in La Jolla, which is a new concert venue that was just built last year.
My name is Amanda Cohen. I work with IATSE 122. I work at a lot of different places. They send me to the theaters, to the sports arenas, to the convention center, the hotels. Like we're all over the place, so I'm all over the place.
So again, big thank you to Lexington Field for joining us here tonight. And like I say, go and download their music, give back to them. That's another industry that's been hard hit in San Diego. You know, tonight is so much about also not only about us as union members, but it's also about St. Patrick's Day and the Irish. You know, when we look back on the history of this country, from 1820 to 1860, 1/3 of all immigrants to this country were from Ireland. Those were people that were coming from a country that was hit hard in their country, that was coming here to find a better way of life, the land of opportunity. And what they found was a land of discrimination. When they got here, they found that they weren't so welcome. They found across storefronts in big cities and small towns, big signs saying, "No Irish need apply here." That is what they were welcomed with. Similar to what we see today, What did those workers do, and what did those Irish immigrants do? They fought back, and they fought back through their unions. They were leaders in the labor movement and building our unions in the coal mines and in the mill towns where they were forced to live, enslaved inside of those factories for little to no wages and owed the honor at the end of the day. So to talk a little bit more about the history between Irish descendants and the labor movement is Jim Miller, one of our AFT professors at City College, Jim Miller.
I'm Jim Miller, Vice President of the American Federation of Teachers, Local 1931. On this St. Patrick's Day, it's worth remembering the key role that Irish Americans have played in the American labor movement. Who were the heroes of American labor? Contemporary union leaders such as Mary Kay Henry of SEIU, Sean McGarvey of the National Building Trades, Terry O'Sullivan, the General President of the Laborers International Union of North America, are upholding a long tradition of Irish American labor union activism and leadership. Going back in time, we remember the good work of John Sweeney, the former president of the AFL-CIO, who fought to diversify the labor movement and reignite rank-and-file activism. Further back, George Meany was a giant in the American labor movement who played a key role in the AFL-CIO merger in the 1950s, served as president, and fought for historic gains for working Americans as the American labor movement became a key part of American life. Other great Irish American leaders include P.J. McGuire, the father of Labor Day in the 1890s, Mike Quill, the fearless leader of the New York City Transit Workers Union from the 1930s to the 1960s, and Teddy Gleason, the longtime leader of the International Longshoremen's Association. But on this St. Patrick's Day, in the midst of Women's History Month, I would be remiss if I did not note that the two greatest Irish American labor leaders were militant women who fought for the rights of American workers when the robber barons of old held all the power. Elizabeth Gurley Flynn was born in Concord, New Hampshire on August 7, 1890, and later moved with her family to the South Bronx. A bright student, she showed promise as a public speaker, and on leaving school, turned to socialism and labor agitation. One magazine editor dubbed her an East Side Joan of Arc. A stalwart in the industrial workers of the world, Gurley Flynn traveled from Montana to Washington to Chicago, speaking on behalf of workers everywhere and earning herself a spill behind bars in Spokane for her troubles. She was behind two huge demonstrations, one in Massachusetts in 1912, the other in New Jersey the following year. A leader of the American left for decades, her activism was consistent from the progressive era all the way until her death in 1964. But perhaps no American labor leader embodied the fighting spirit of the working class more than the person a U.S. attorney dubbed the most dangerous woman in America, whose motto was, "Pray for the dead and fight like hell for the living." That person was Mother Jones. Mother Jones was one of America's most effective union organizers. At a time when few women were activists, she was a fearless crusader for the rights of American workers and became a champion of child laborers. But most of all, she was the miner's angel, often risking arrest and her own safety in support of the miners' struggle for safer working conditions and better pay. It was the miners who dubbed her Mother Jones. A tiny woman in a black dress with a lace collar, steel-rimmed spectacles, and snowy hair pulled back in a bun, Jones could have been mistaken for someone's genteel grandmother until she opened her mouth. Her speeches appealed to laborers' sense of justice and self-respect and rallied them to action. Working for the affluent as a dressmaker while living among the poor, Jones grew enraged at the disparities between the classes. She began to attend political and labor protest meetings, ultimately launching her own campaign for workers' rights, first for Irish railroad workers and miners, and then for all laborers. Over the next 25 years, she crisscrossed the country, fueling workers' hopes and inciting their strikes. In 1901, she was a commissioned organizer in West Virginia for the United Mine Workers. She walked miles of railroad, scaled cliffs, and waded across streams to attend secret meetings. She was arrested in 1902 for her efforts, and it was then that she was declared the most dangerous woman in America. The following year, she led a children's march from New Kensington, Pennsylvania to Oyster Bay, Long Island, the summer home of President Theodore Roosevelt. She wanted to show the president what happened to the victims of child labor. The president didn't want to listen. Mother Jones led strikes, testified before Congress, fought for social justice, went to jail in the service of workers' rights on many occasions, not ceasing until her death in 1930 when she was buried in a miners' cemetery in Illinois. Thus, the woman who told us there are no kings in America and workers should kneel to no one best represents the spirit of Irish rebels and the fighting spirit of the American working class. Happy St. Patrick's Day, fellow workers and friends.
I'd like to thank Jim Miller for that narration to take us a little bit through the history of our Irish immigrants and the labor movement. I too come from an Irish family and a proud Irishman. My mom's family were Galway and Mahon, and so it's a proud history. And to hear those words, mourn for the dead, fight like hell for the living, that is a battle that we have to continue today as working people. So many of those labor leaders and the history of Irishmen and Irish women like Mother Jones, think back to those days, a woman leading the fight for the labor movement back in those days. Also, I want to briefly remind us, President John Sweeney of the AFL-CIO that Jim talked about in there passed away a few months ago this year. He gave his life to building unions. Actually brought me into the AFL-CIO where I spent 20 years and brought me to DC to do a lot of work, and just such a great champion for working people. Tonight is also about the contributions and helping our people in need. I want to remind you that you can click on the links that you'll have at the scrolling across the bottom. So far, just to give you a quick update, since we've started tonight, nearly $700 in individual contributions on that site. Please go and give generously. Also, over $5,000 on the auction site. So please go out there and make bids on that auction and give generously tonight. I now have the pleasure of introducing our next sponsor that helped make this event possible tonight, the United Food and Commercial Workers. They have been on the front line since this pandemic, leading the fight. I mean, who would have thought people working in our grocery stores would be on the front lines of a pandemic and trying to put food on the tables and provide a helping hand. The United Food and Commercial Workers represents all the pharmacy workers and healthcare workers at Kaiser, to grocery workers and cannabis. Yep, I said cannabis, and I believe they're coming on to the show later tonight, right, with our cannabis later for the party? So with that, I will turn it over to Todd Walters of the United Food and Commercial Workers.
Hi, my name is Todd Walters. I'm a president of the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, Local 135. Here in San Diego County, we represent the essential workers in the retail food and drug stores, our Kaiser medical offices, as well as the cannabis industry, Spreckle Sugar, Viejas Casino, airport workers, as well as dental office workers. We are proud to say that our essential workers are leading the charge in immunizing the community from the COVID vaccine. We are proud to say that we have active organizing campaigns in the cannabis industry, as well as we recently won a victory with CVS store here in San Diego County. We stand strong in supporting our brothers and sisters at IATSE 122, and we're here to support them today. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you again to UFCW and their support tonight, and for them being out there on the front lines, helping put food on a lot of people's table as they continue to go into their jobs every day. Local 122 is made up of a very diverse membership from people of all walks of life, but we all didn't take the same path to get here. Let's take a look and see how some of our members became members of Local 122.
So I was still in college trying to figure out what I was going to do. I had like a kitchen job, and I had an audio assistant job for this really small music venue, Lestats West. And then from there, I met a bunch of like friends that were also in part of IATSE. So they sort of like pushed me towards joining the local.
It's a weird question. I started at the Escondido Center for the Arts, and Escondido has a paid internship, and they do union rules there. So it's kind of like it's a union house, but while you're an intern, you're not technically in the union yet. So I did that between 2008 and 2012, I believe, and then I graduated the internship and immediately signed up with the union, and I've been here ever since.
So in high school, my high school stagecraft teacher, Dr. Howard Roberts, he was a local performer, performed in the summertime at San Diego Civic Light Opera, also known as Starlight. And he has quite a few of his ex-students are members of the local. And he got me a summer job between my junior and senior year. And there was a ratio where there was one union guy to 2 kids. And we would work in the summertime under the guidance of Bob Doherty, Jeff McCambridge, Steve Carmack, Eric Keel, Scott Beverly, Dave Masasic. Those were the guys that introduced me to the union.
I was introduced to the industry on stage. I was a volunteer at a jazz festival in San Francisco. I was hired by the company immediately afterwards. I actually went down the next Monday morning and told the general manager that I now work there. And he was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "I'm Noel, and I work here now." And he goes, "Who told you that?" And I said, "That guy." And he said, "All right, well, let's see what you can do." And so I went out there and immediately saw that I had no idea what to do in that warehouse, but the warehouse floor was dirty, so I swept the warehouse floor. My very first job in the industry was sweeping the warehouse floor, and I worked my way up from there.
A lot of our members have found their own path to coming to Local 122 and becoming members. As a local union, we represent our workers in the workforce, fighting for fair contracts with fair wages and benefits and safety conditions. But also part of our duty is to go out there and find workers who don't have fair wages and have terrible working conditions, often in very unsafe working environment. One of the individuals who's out there every day pounding the pavement to help fight for these workers' rights is Mr. Juan Perez, Local 122 organizer.
Good evening. Everyone deserves a union, because with a union, on average, workers make 20% more than their non-union counterparts, have better working conditions, and have better benefits. Why? Because when workers unite and make demands to management, management has to listen. With that, enjoy this next video of the Encore's organizing campaign. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ramsey Pollicle. On March 2nd, 2020, employees from both PSAV and Encore joined together to file a claim with the National Labor Relations Board here in San Diego. Our intent was to organize and join the IATSE Local 122 due to unfair treatment at work, hazardous working conditions, unjust pay, and subpar benefits. It's been almost a year now since we voted the union in with an impressive 75% approval margin. Up until this day, despite everything that's been going on in the world, we still continue to fight the good fight. This is our journey.
I started with the organizing campaign back in September or October of 2019. It was a rather interesting experience. It was very low-key underground at the very beginning, trying to get it up off the ground. But it was very encouraging to see things moving in a positive way with some of my coworkers.
So when I heard about the organizing campaign, it was through one of my coworkers, and he had suggested that I should call the union to find out more information. And not long after, I met another coworker who works at a completely different property than I do that got me involved.
I got involved end of December, beginning of January. One of my coworkers who had been with it from the beginning reached out to me and kind of floated the idea and said, you know, how do you feel about unions in general? You know, what would you think about unionizing? And I immediately was like, hell yeah. My sister and my brother-in-law are involved in IATSE back in Connecticut, so I've seen firsthand what union benefits do and how good it can be for your life and how it can really set you up.
So the start for me in the organizing campaign was fall of 2019, and thinking back to it, it started just as a rumor that they was getting going, and then I was approached by one of my coworkers, and then at that point I was contacted by a union organizer. I met up with him and I signed my card, and that was the start from it.
So I was approached by a coworker on another property, and he kind of mentioned that there was a possibility that we were going to unionize. And I kind of thought, yeah, right, you know, in our dreams. And it wasn't until another coworker of mine at another property told me the same thing. So, and then she gave me a contact of an individual who was help organizing. And then I met with that individual, and he kind of told me what the game plan was, and it was there that I signed a card, which I was kind of nervous and paranoid about it, but and hopeful for having this even be a reality, which I never thought it would be.
Well, we were another employee approached me at work. And I've always been interested in the union, so I was instantly all ears, and it was a little shadowy up front. I didn't know all the details, so I don't have much experience with it, but the more we talked about it, and I got to see how excited it was, explaining to me all the possibilities, and the other people that were jumping on board, and suddenly now it's a group of us, and now you could feel the momentum and the growth, and that it felt like something that could change, change my life and all my other workers. So yeah, I was in at least curious enough to go and listen and find out more about it,
At the end of the day, the outcome that I want to see out of this is fairness in the workplace and just being paid our worth and just being able to do what I love to do without having to struggle, with pay or benefits or anything. Just be able to live my life and just be able to do what I love to do.
At the end of the day, the outcome I really want to see is definitely better treatment for employees, better pay for employees, better benefits for employees, so living conditions definitely becomes manageable. And people can be able to live their lives without worrying about rent or where their next meal is going to come from, and being able to take care of their families.
I want a really good contract, I want higher pay, I want competitive pay for the fact that we are skilled workers who work in a dangerous profession. I want good health care, again, so when you get those falls or you strain your back or your kid gets sick, you can afford to get well again so you can get back to work to doing what you love. And I want a pension. I want to retire someday. I mean, I know that's a little ways off for me, but I would I would like to retire someday.
What I would like to see is I'd like to see better pay. I would like to have better health care, for one. We have brotherhood and sisterhood now because of the organizing efforts. But I feel that there's that companionship already. I'd like to have that continue on. We didn't have that before PSAV. At least I wasn't included. I didn't feel that way. I'd go to another property and I'd go, oh, I don't like those people. I don't want to work there. But now I don't feel that way. Now I'm excited to be with my other co-workers now because of this unionizing effort.
In the near future, when the contract's done, yes, I'll have some better pay. Things will be better. I'll have better insurance. I'll have all these good things that will improve my life by leaps and bounds. Trust me, my life can use all that stuff. But the fact that the idea of like having all this freedom because of the union, that's what blows my mind. And that's what I'm really, really sticking around for, man. Not just to get up and leave. I'll keep working at PSW as long as it's great and they have me. But I like the idea, like, I got freedom now. I can change my life and I can make decisions that, you guys are giving me those options.
I want to see them take our concerns seriously. I want to see the company understand that the best way to get the best and most qualified people is to create a career for them, meaning higher pay, health care, retirement, things of that nature that allows people to want to come work for the company and stay around for a long time. I think the company should be building people that want to spend many, many years with them.
The outcome? Well, I would love to see us get a really awesome contract where, one, we have a living wage where we can support ourselves in a fairly expensive city, where we can have some reasonable expectation of just human dignity. We're not always treated that well in our job. And just some standards for, hey, we're people, we're not equipment, we're not gear. Treat us like we have emotions, like we have to actually go to sleep at night. Some boundaries for better interactions and just a better quality of life overall.
Happy and ways to build a stronger relationship with PSAV and a strong foundation with the union labor.
Hi, my name is Lorena Gonzalez, and I'm the Assemblywoman for the 80th Assembly District. I am absolutely supportive of what these workers, the PSAV Encore workers, are doing, all of you. I am so proud of the fact that you fought for a union, and I know it's frustrating to work on that first contract and wait for management to do the right thing. But we're going to stand by you. We're going to do everything in our power to ensure that you have a fair contract with a living wage and with benefits. To the management of PSAV Encore, I want you to remember something. When we come out of this pandemic and we have big events coming back, those big events rely on really skilled labor, the labor of your workers, those workers who deserve far more than minimum wage. They deserve to put you in a spot that you're a well-respected company because you have the best labor. That only works if you're paying them what they deserve. Let's get out of this horrible, horrible pandemic together and come out with a good relationship with your workers. Bargain well at the bargaining table. Make sure that first contract is really meaningful and that you have a partnership coming out of this so that you don't have to worry about whether or not people are going to choose you for those big events.
Hi, my name is Doug Moore, and I'm the Executive Director of UDW.
Thank you for that video talking about workers organizing, having to fight for their future. The PSAV and Encore workers, what you heard over and over again, respect, dignity, a fair contract, having something in writing with their standards that they're expected to live by, having to be able to improve their health care and to have a retirement when they can no longer work on the job, to be able to retire with dignity. But it's not easy to get that. It's a big fight. That's why our unions across the country are leading the fight for the PRO Act that would upgrade the laws that have been on the books since the 1925s. Those laws have been weakened over the years and not in the favor of workers. So you'll be hearing more and more from our labor movement about passing labor law reform that will put workers first. Tonight is also about giving back. You know, I want to remind you to continue to click on the site and give generously, to click the text to donate, as well as on the auction site. I want to do a big shout out for one of our members that's a delegate to the Labor Council, Paula Hall, who gave $250 just a few minutes ago to the fund. Big shout out. It's members like Paula who's always there to give back. One of our members at the Classified School Employees Association, CSEA, and I want to give her a big shout. Now I'd like to introduce two more of our sponsors that brought to you tonight that allowed this event to be possible. Two of the most diverse unions in our labor movement. A lot of workers of color, a lot of those workers that are out there just pushing every day to give back and work hard. The first one is United Domestic Workers that represents caregivers and domestic caregivers inside of there and child care providers helping to give back. And then the Laborers International Union of North America, Local 89, who's the front line out, you know, with highway construction, on the construction sites, getting those sites prepped and ready for construction. So with that, I would like to introduce Doug Moore with the United Domestic Workers and Val Macedo with Laborers International Union of North America.
Hi, my name is Doug Moore, and I'm the Executive Director of UDW AFSCME Local 3930. We are a home care and child care union representing 140,000 workers throughout the state. UDW is proud to stand in solidarity with IATSE Local 122. We are a community-minded union, and we are a strong believer in social justice for everyone. And we stand in solidarity with IATSE Local 122. Thank you.
Good morning, brothers and sisters and audience of whomever is going to see this this video here. First off, I just want to let you know who I am. My name is Valentin Macedo. I'm with the Laborers International Union of North America, Local 89 here in San Diego County. That being said, I'm the business manager, secretary, treasurer of this organization with over 4,000 members that I humbly represent every day of my life and the lives of my agents and my team. I want to take this opportunity to let everybody know that Local 89, Laborers International Union of North America, sees the tough times during this pandemic, both you know, in a positive way and in a negative way. And those of our brothers and sisters of ours that have been impacted in a negative way, we want to make it clear it's not about us, you know, doing good things. It's more about us standing in solidarity with, you know, great organizations such as IATSE 122, in hopes that whatever it is we do to help him and his organization, Mr. You know, my brother, my colleague at the Labor Council, Richard, you know, Brother Richard Disbrow, that this actually benefits him and his membership, and it helps as we continue to, you know, dwindle down the numbers in this pandemic and get to some, you know, the normal stages of being able to, you know, help them and help us do the best we can do to represent our members during these tough times. Didn't want to take a bunch of time, but I do want to know that I stand in solidarity with IATSE 122, Richard Disbrow and his team, and any other organizations that are going through tough times. And shout out to those other unions that are taking care of the workers out there in the industry to make sure that they're safe and holding employers accountable. This is what we do on a daily basis. Love our jobs. That's why we're here. We do what we do, and God bless everyone. Thank you.
Lexington Field is back. A couple years ago, we released an album called Dreamers, and it was very, it was focused on the positive things of our life. So this next song, it's called Bright Blue World, and it's about all the positive things in your life and what to look forward to, and I think that's a big theme of tonight's fundraiser. So this song, Bright Blue World, goes out to all the members of IATSE and everyone out there who's donating to the cause. We really appreciate it. It's a bright blue world outside, thanking God for life. It's a bright blue world outside, live each day in stride. Through the good times, I'll smile with you, and if the rain comes, I'll be the one who shelters you. All your energy, your sweet history, I thank those lucky stars. It's a bright new world outside, thanking God for life. It's a bright new world outside, each day in stride. I got this feeling, it feels so good to me. Right here with you, the only place I'll ever be. Together we will shine like wishing stars and read those in the dark. It's a bright blue world outside, thanking God for life. It's a bright blue world outside, live each day in stride. It doesn't matter if it all goes bad in this bright blue world. This bright blue world. Outside, thanking God for life. It's a bright new world outside, live each day in stride. It's a bright blue world outside, thanking God for life. It's a bright blue world outside, live each day in stride. Doesn't matter if it all goes bad in this bright blue world.
Thank you once again to Lexington Field. Next time they come out, they'll be doing a full 30-minute set for you guys. Since it's been over a year since our members have been out of work, we decided to ask them if they could remember when their last gig was. I can barely remember last week. So let's check in with our members and see if they can remember and see how they're doing.
I was at the theater, I'm sure of it. Probably a concert. We do a lot of one-night events there. Probably a musical act. It could have been comedy, though. We do some of that, too. I honestly cannot tell you because it's been so long.
When the pandemic hit back in probably March, when it really hit us in March of 20, I had no idea that that was going to be my last job. So it was pretty insignificant, and I thought, well, we're off work, and we get off work a lot. There's cold time, so it didn't really seem like it was going to be that big of a deal. And then 2 months off, 3 months off, you know, and then it's really started hitting some of the younger guys, the young family guys, and it was let's see. Yeah, I'm just trying to.
You know, I was really scared.
I remember it. It was March 13th. And that was like really the last day we worked. You know, I worked some other jobs last summer where we were taking down shows, but like no one was planning on doing any shows, you know, other than like the drive-in opera. And I haven't really worked that much since March 13th. And it's been really scary. It's been frightening. Yeah.
I've been around 122 now for 2 decades, just about 20 years now. But I've never seen anything hit a company or a group of people like this pandemic has. It came in and took the legs from under us because of what we do. We're a service-oriented company. You know, we provide a service, and all of a sudden that ability or that opportunity was taken from us. You can't go out and set up lights. You can't go out and build stages. You can't go out and perform these events and do these shows and work with these people because the industry just stopped. So the pandemic was severe. I have never seen anything like this in my 60 years. So I just don't understand how it can come in and just wipe us out like this, but it did. But we've got to learn from this and move on and, you know, try to protect our industry and protect ourselves.
Can you imagine 1 year without work? I mean, when you're working week in and week out at the convention center and at theaters like this beautiful Balboa Theater and other sets, and a whole year. I mean, you could hear it in their voices. It's been tough. I can't imagine. A lot of workers have been out and been hit hard, but nothing like the hospitality industry, like our hotel workers and our restaurant workers and our bands and these proud men and women of IATSE 122 that keep this, you know, keep this city running, especially in our hospitality industry. So I just want to, you know, this why it's so important to give back right now is contributions are critically important. If you'll go to the bottom, you know, you'll see where you can click on to text to donate, and you can also give money to the auction. Right now, individually, the individual text to donate has raised over $1,700 since we started. And we're over nearly a little over $7,000 on the auction. So please continue to give, and you can continue to give when this ends, but please give generously. Big shout out to another one, former worker at our San Diego and Imperial Counties Labor Council, and now a city council member, a freshman city council member in National City. Big shout out to Jose Rodriguez for his $250 contribution as well tonight. So I want to talk a little bit about our own organization, an organization I'm very proud of, the San Diego and Imperial Counties Labor Council. We've been around since 1902 when this organization received the charter from originally the AFL and now the AFL-CIO. We're an organization of 136 unions with over 200,000 working families across San Diego and Imperial Counties San Diego and Imperial Counties. We are an organization that is always giving back, and so one of the proudest things that I can say right now is the work that we're doing right now. Beginning this weekend, we're going to actually be working on the front lines, getting shots in the arms and vaccines of union members across San Diego and Imperial Counties. But we also really stepped up at the very beginning of the pandemic. Our Partnership for a Better San Diego, which is our 501c3, has had a full-time food distribution since March the 16th of 2020, where we opened up our pantry in City Heights. We have a pantry in Imperial Valley, and we also are the ones that when you saw all those distributions at Qualcomm Stadium and throughout San Diego and Imperial, those big distributions, our Labor Council and our union members have been on the front lines. So with that, I would like to talk a little bit about our partnership for a better San Diego and tee that up. And it starts off with Sandra Williams from the Labor Council.
The Partnership for a Better San Diego is a nonprofit dedicated to fighting food insecurity through the power of organized labor.
Our organization has been very successful because of people. We're built on people. We're built on helping the community. Everyone in our pantry has one vision, the vision to help food insecurity and the vision to tell everyone you're not alone, that we're here for you. My name is Sandra Williams. I am the program administrator for the Partnership for a Better San Diego.
Originally founded to provide emergency assistance to union members, we expanded the organization in 2020 to serve all community members in need.
The types of families that we see every day are just like your next door neighbor or your coworker. People with families, elderly folks, people that have their disabilities, and people just experiencing hard times.
Pandemic closures and mass layoffs made it clear that many families would need sustained long-term help.
Yo tengo 6 niños. Tengo 2 varones casados y 4 niños que están todavía a mi responsabilidad. Pues la pandemia ha impactado mucho a mi familia, pues que no hemos tenido trabajo, nos hemos estado ayudando con el poco de desempleo que nos dan y a veces en el desempleo como ahorita, que tenemos un mes de no recibir nada porque problemas que ha tenido el desempleo y pues la comida que nos han dado nos ha ayudado bastante.
As a labor movement, we care deeply about helping people and we felt called to lend a hand. We began by opening a food pantry in our small office building in City Heights. We raised funds from our unions and corporate partners and developed a system to receive, store, and distribute food to our local families.
It's a huge part because that really helps all of us bring food to our tables. With not knowing, not money coming in, it's a big worry for us, for all of us. And thanks to this program, the food distribution, it's been nonstop. Thank goodness we have this available to us.
We also launched weekly food distributions in partnership with Feeding San Diego and the San Diego Food Bank. Together, we have served tens of thousands of families in need.
This is just about our workers and our unions giving back. We have full-time distributions around San Diego and in Imperial, but this one's about helping out the whole general public and trying to put some food in people's hands.
Construction workers and home caregivers joined teachers and grocery workers, each giving up their days off to serve.
Each one of our guys has been trained. All of our guys are wearing masks, safety gear. They're all wearing their PPE.
We knew how broadly food insecurity had become during the pandemic. So we began to distribute food through partnerships with local community organizations.
Local nonprofits are working tirelessly right now to help those affected by COVID-19.
We started distributing food from our office. I think we started distributing 600 to 700 people. And we do that every Wednesday. People call us sometimes crying. They feel, as they express it, they feel like they have the rope in their throat with bills, rent, food that they have to provide for their families.
We expanded our refrigeration capacity and the number of grocery stores and coffee chains in our donation network. We gave away diapers to families with infants and toddlers. We also launched a mobile operation with volunteers driving food to seniors and community members without access to transportation.
This mobile distribution is tailored to folks that don't have a vehicle, elderly folks, folks with disabilities, and folks that are just not comfortable being out during COVID-19.
Sí, hay personas que llevan a domicilio. Por ejemplo, a mí me enfermé hace 2 meses, me operaron de mi vesícula y los voluntarios fueron a mi casa a llevarme comida. Entonces estoy tan agradecido con esos voluntarios, igual yo me animo también a ser parte de ellos. De la vesícula me operaron, estuve 1 mes encamada y no podía salir. Y los voluntarios fueron a mi casa y me llevaron. Estoy tan agradecida con ellos también porque 1 galón de leche al menos tenía en mi casa para mis hijos y para mí.
Together, the partnership has given away more than 1.5 million pounds of food and served more than 60,000 families in San Diego and Imperial counties.
Our operation is based on 2 full-time staff members and a part-time person. And we've served over 60,000 families since March of 2020. We've given out 100,000 diapers.
We did that thing. As labor unions, we represent more than 200,000 working families across San Diego and Imperial counties. This is a powerful network to both find and meet the need.
I think that our operation is one of the most efficient operations that you're going to find. I think that just the volunteer base, I don't think anybody has the volunteer base that we have, and I think we're limitless with what we could do.
We are proud of the support we have mobilized and the strength and the dedication of our volunteers. We are labor and community in solidarity. To grow and sustain our work, we need your help.
We need more resources. To accomplish what we're doing and to do what we've done so far with largely a volunteer operation is way beyond what we saw when we started this. The resources that we need is to, continue to be able to have the proper storage space, for us to have the vehicles we need, because we're picking up food in that old 87 truck and we're covering it with insulated blankets and getting it right back. We are in some of the hardest hit areas, and we're giving back ourselves. So not only do we have volunteers, but a lot of the money that we're raising right now is coming through our unions. So our unions are putting their money up on this. They're putting volunteer time into it. So what we need is really to supplement that by getting others.
We ask you to join us, and we thank you.
Keith, I'd like to personally thank you and all the hard work that you and your staff does for the partnership and everything that you've done personally for our union, but all the other unions, the hotel workers, the thousands of families that you guys have been able to contribute by helping putting food on the table. And I remember that phone call when I first called you about the pandemic and trying to figure out how we're going to keep food on the table and a roof over our head and healthcare and all these other issues. And you guys stepped up to the plate right away. And I think you hit a grand slam. I mean, I think you guys are really Slam Diego. I'd also like to thank our sponsors tonight. I'd like to thank San Diego Theaters for hosting us and allowing us to do this event here. And I'd like to thank everyone who's watching at home, anyone who texted, donated, anyone who auctioned, and anyone who just viewed. I really appreciate all of you and hearing our story and helping out our members.
Yeah, and thank you, Richard. Thank you for having me here, and I'm so proud to be a part of this. That's the foundation of our labor movement is solidarity and being able to help each other, especially during the tough times, because it's easy to help each other during the good times. It's not as easy to help during the tough times. I remember when we started the first food distribution, there was a lot of people scared about being out there, and we've, after putting food on the tables of over 60,000 families, 1.6 million pounds of food. You heard Sandra talk about all the diapers that we're doing now. We've not had one of our volunteers or staff to contact COVID. So we've tried to do it safe. We use what we learned on the shop floor to, you know, to apply that to us. And it's just so proud to be able to help. And that's why we're asking tonight, please contribute to try to help these workers out. We're getting close. You heard the mayor talk about it. We're getting really close. And so it's just such a pleasure for me to be a part of this. And you know, and for all that your members. I mean, your members are showing up at the pantry every week to pack food and to give to people, and they don't even have jobs themselves. You know, they show up every week at the big distributions and volunteer to give food to San Diegans, and they're out of work themselves, and that is the labor movement. I hope that folks have learned a little bit about who you are as a union, as well as a little bit about who we are as a labor movement, and it's such a pleasure. I want to leave with a little Irish wisdom as we begin to wind this down. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may the Lord hold you in the palm of his hands. I think that kind of sums it up for us. And now I think we should enjoy a little celebration. What do you think, Richard?
I think that's great, and I thank you for your words of wisdom. And ladies and gentlemen, Lexington Field, thank you all for joining.
Take us away. Patrick said, let's party. Smith on the fiddle. All right, we're gonna play an Irish drinking song. It's St. Patrick's Day. We missed out on this last year, so we're gonna make up for it right now. In a neat little town they call Belfast, apprentice in trade I was bound, and oh many sweet hours of happiness I spent in that neat little town. Till bad misfortune befell me and caused me to stray from the line, far away from your friends and relations, to follow the black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, you'd think she was queen of the land, and her hair hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. As I was strolling down Broadway, not intending to go very far, well, I met a frolicsome damsel, a and she slipped it right into me. Then the watch came and put me in prison. Bad luck to a black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds. You'd think she was queen of the land. And her hair went over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. For judge and jury next morning, my trial I had to appear. Well, the judge, he said, my young fellow, the case against you is quite clear. Well, 7 years is your sentence, and you're going to Van Diemen's Land, far away from your friends and relations, to follow the black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds. You'd think she was queen of the land. And her hair hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds. You'd think she was queen of the land. And her hair hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. Ah, the Black Velvet Band. Okay, we're gonna play a Lexington Field song right now. This one is called Poor Troubled Life. Brian's gonna take the guitar. All right. Take it away. There you go. We're playing to the crowd out there and to the empty Balboa Theater and all the stagehands and everyone helping out with this show. Right now we just, guys, round of applause for everyone putting this on today, tonight. It's been an all-day effort. You guys have been fantastic. It's like state of the art. We're just honored to be a part of it. This song's called Poor Troubled Life. Take my hand, take my only offer. I'm not coming back again. I think it's time for me to leave. Time to head back home. Knocked down, it don't feel right. It's just me against the world and it's alright. Lift me up, poor troubled life. Won't you lift me up? Poor troubled life, don't hold me down. Poor troubled life, don't hold me down. Don't hold me down. Disconnected. Empty bottles numb my soul. There's still a chance for me to come back around. A chance for me to mend this broken life. And I can taste all that glory, all the love I have around. It lifts me up, poor troubled life. God, it lifts me up. Poor troubled life, don't hold me down. Poor troubled life, don't hold me down. Don't hold me down. so hard to breathe. Gonna throw it all away. Without this troubled life, could I live another day? Oh, troubled life, don't hold me down. For troubled life, don't hold me down. Don't hold me down. For troubled life, don't hold me down. For troubled life, don't hold me down. Don't hold me down. All right, great. That was Poor Troubled Life. Okay, cool. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Lexington Field. This next song's off a brand new album we put out in last year during the pandemic, right in the heart of it. We had just finished like in March, and we just decided, you know, let's release this album in the fall because nobody's doing anything. And at least we can give some new music to people and to our fans and to everyone out there. So we wrote an EP called Win the Day, and this song is called Steps. And Steps is about, you know, waking up in the morning, going for that walk, and, you know, jobbing up for the day to come. All right, here we go. Alone in my thoughts once again. Anxieties are never the same. Turn up the music to 10. Depression will not win the day. Wake up to the glory of dawn as the cool air fills my lungs. Take 10,000 steps, embrace what is next. A new day has just begun. The fog sets down in the field. Coyotes are hunting their prey. This moment feels so surreal. The best way to start my day. Where will I go from here? Another fork in the road. This time we'll forge straight ahead. New steps into the unknown. Wake up to the glory of dawn as the cool air fills my one's called Steps. All right, we've just been, as we got older, we've just been into writing a lot more happy songs. So this next one, I think, is also in good theme of everything about staying positive and staying alive and staying strong through this whole process. And you know what? We did. We've made it. We're here. And everyone needs some help, though. And we've all helped each other along the way. And please donate to IATSE's fundraiser. We really appreciate it. This song is called Alive. It's off our new album, and hope you like it. You can't imagine the story of my life. You can't imagine the time that passes us by. We live in this moment when it's all good vibes. The sun is shining, each day a new surprise. When tomorrow comes, we feel alive. Our mothers and fathers worked for their whole lives. Lesson they taught me, shine deep in you. We live in this moment when it's all good vibes. Sun is shining, each day a new surprise. When tomorrow comes, we feel alive. Tomorrow, cast your fears aside. Yes, tomorrow, one breath to feel alive. We live in this moment when it's all good vibes. Sun is shining, each day a new surprise. We live in this moment when it's all good vibes. The sun is shining, each day a new surprise. When tomorrow comes, we feel alive. 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 All right, that was Alive. Thank you. All right, we're gonna go, I just want to say one quick thing. Something that actually gets we talk about all the families and everyone who's been struggling this last year. I think some of the ones who get forgotten the most are the kids. So the kids have had their lives completely rocked, and they've been pulled from school, they can't hang out with friends, and it's just been a real struggle for all the kids. So, and we all here, we're all fathers, and we're parents, and we have our own kids, and we've been feeling that daily struggle too, and I'm sure all the members of all the unions and all the families out there are going through the same thing. So we a couple years ago, we wrote, with Dreamers, we wrote a song called The Lumberjack, and it's a child's story about a lumberjack. And so I'd like to dedicate this song to all the kids out there. And specifically for Lexington Field, I'd like to give a shout out to Remington, to give a shout out to Lincoln and Kennedy, to give a shout out to Iris, and give a shout out to Oliver and Charlie. So this song is for you guys, and this song is for all the kids out there. This one's called The Lumberjack.
rises in the east. It's time to go to sleep. I will tell you a story for your dreams. There once was a man, a grizzly lumberjack, who lived by himself on top of no man's hill. He was all alone, no one to share his home, chopping down the trees for a rainy day. At night, the town below radiated glow, and the folks would go to celebrate their peace. But Grizzly Lumberjack had always turned his back on having friends and joining in the fun. Then one day the rain came pouring down. The massive floods washed away the town. Everyone was left in despair. The lonely lumberjack was the only one who cared. By moonlight he came down with all the logs he found, and they rebuilt the town together, home by home. Now Grizzly Lumberjack is always welcome back. He'll never ever be alone anymore. Sun rises in the east. It's time to wake and sleep. Be good to others, and they'll be good to you. All right, that one's for the kiddos. Now go to bed. Ollie, Charlie, go to bed.
And I'll actually add too. Ironically, my sister works for the UFCW. My parents, 40 plus years in the grocery industry. My dad retired a few years, and it was about 40 years, I think, as a meat manager for Albertsons. And my mom, still tried and true, working going into her 38th year, working for Albertsons as a produce manager. My sister works for Kaiser. So I got the whole family in the UFCW, and I know they helped sponsor this event. So I just want to let you know that this is dear to my heart. A lot of the morals and a lot of the upbringing that I received came from the values that were created by the union, by the way that my family treated me, by the way that they valued their time off and the way that they got paid. So, and the benefits, of course, that I've received, and so to my heart, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good. Thanks, Brian. All right, let's play another Irish one. Let's play another dancing song. All right, Cammie, this one's called Cripple Creek. Let's get going. Smith, everybody. Woo! We got time for 2 more, guys? I think we can rock this out. We got 2 more songs. We're going to go out with a bang here. This next song is about a bunch of thugs up to no good. Really, we wrote 2 songs about these guys. They're called the Tracy Boys. It's just been a theme for the last 12 years of a band. But we're going to start the song with them just knowing how to party. They follow us at every show. They're mythical. They're make-believe, but they're in spirit with us. This one's called Tracy Boys Know How to Party. But it's really afternoon. Feel like I died the night before. It's time to rally now. Well, the boys will be here soon. Maybe you will make it without falling on the floor. Pass some whiskey, pass some pints. Let's have another round and celebrate tonight. The band is playing our favorite songs. The Tracy Boys are back and they're ready for a fight. 1, 2, 3, let's go! Follows them wherever they may go. Nothing in this world will stop us now. Good times for everyone, even Johnny and their foes. They'll stumble down the street and light on fire to this town. Pass some whiskey, pass some pints. Let's have another round and celebrate tonight. The band is playing our favorite songs. The Tracy Boys are back and ready for a fight. 1, 2, 3, and fight! Boys are back and ready for a fight. 1, 2, 3, fight! Yeah, Tracy Boys. Oh, the Tracy Boys. Okay, so once again, this is the last song of the show of the night. Right, are we good for one more song, guys? Yeah, cool. Okay. So once again, I'd like to thank Richard for inviting us. And inviting us to play tonight, giving us a chance to play these songs on St. Patrick's Day. I'd like to, big shout out to IATSE and all the guests and everybody who has participated tonight to make this happen and all the money we've raised for the cause. Round of applause to all of you guys. Thank you again. And one last thing to mention, I just want to say one last thing. We have been doing this for 12 years in San Diego, and we've had many interactions and worked with many stagehands at all the different venues all across San Diego, and they have always helped us to be able to produce this music for you, the audience, and they are top-notch quality people. And you know what? I think they're very important. We need them to provide this art for all of you so we can enjoy these times again. So this goes out to all the stagehands of San Diego, a bunch of thugs up to no good. This song's called Tracy Boys Fight the World. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. We're Lexington Field. Have a good night.
doors as the sun is fading down. To the pub where drinks are poured and light up all the town. From the alley comes a gang that strikes up living fear. They push the weak, get the girls, never pay for beer. Call the police, I'm not leaving, I'm here to stay. The Tracy boys smell blood tonight, so you better get out of their way. 1, 2, 3, fight! Some say they own City Hall and even Mayor Tom. They stand their bows against the wall and pray it won't last long. The Tracy boys are tough as nails, they're ready for a fight. So forget the girls, the front row seat, and pretty much the night. Call the police, I'm not leaving, I'm here to stay. The Tracy boys smell blood tonight, so you better get out of their way. 1, 2, 3, fight! Andy Smith, Brian Hain, John on drums, I'm Bo, Nick at home on bass. Have a good night with Lexington Field. I'm not leaving, I'm here to stay. The Tracy boys are by tonight, so you better get out of their way. Call the police, I'm not leaving, I'm here to stay. The Tracy boys smell blood tonight, you better get out of their way. Happy St. Patrick's Day with Lexington Field. Please donate to the fundraiser. IATSE. God bless. Have a good night.
Drive safely.
All right. Thank you, thank you. Another huge shout out for Lexington Field. A huge shout out for our sponsors, for you at home who are donating, and a big, big thank you to our entire crew who's out here making this possible, to our IATSE stagehands. We'll see if Joe can go ahead and turn around and show everyone who's out here working. Well, it's a little dark. But anyways, there's a lot of people here, and I want to thank everyone for my staff, the membership, and everyone coming together to put this event on. Thank you very much, and have a good night.